Greetings, friends. So excuse the poor quality of the images. I was taking it on my phone because I saw these posters or these billboards on a whim and I decided to film them to comment on them later. These photos are part of the Toronto Transit Commission celebrating 100 years of its existence, moving the city through subway trains, buses, and what we call streetcars, which are like trolley cars. And it is an impressive achievement. Now, this photo in particular caught my eye because it reveals an inconvenient truth about the past. This is an instance of our rulers making a mistake. They shouldn't have allowed this image to be seen by the public because it could cause an awkward situation by raising unnecessary questions which could lead to the collapse of a narrative, and the left and the establishment rely on complete narrative control. You have to shape the past to shape the present and therefore the future. So you have to alter the past or erase the past or do whatever you can do to prevent the truth from getting out. This caption from the archives accurately, as far as I can say, reports that on a sweltering day in June 1955, TTC riders line up at Eglinton Station waiting for a bus. And we can see the crowd is all white people. Now again, it's only a dozen or 40 people. You can't really tell. It's not like we really get a good sample, but we do get a big enough sample here that you just wouldn't see this at all today in Toronto. There's no way in any subway station. I can't think of any instance apart from specific cultural events that would otherwise have this ethnicity concentrated like that. It's almost a statistical impossibility to see that in the city today. And again, it's not the best image. We don't see everything, but we clearly see not only is it just white people. That's the inconvenient first truth. The second, less spicy truth, but still relevant, is that they are conservatively dressed. The women are dressed modestly. They're not showing much of their knees. The skirts are fairly long compared to what you would see today. They're still making themselves look pretty, but they're not anything like what you would see in today's over-sexualized culture. And you don't see freaks with green hair. And the men, maybe some of them are working men, are still dressed more traditionally. No one's wearing shorts, and I wear shorts myself. I'm a product of the casual revolution. So it's not like I escape criticism here. But I'm recognizing that the cultures that came before us in our own society were more traditional and conservative in their dress, and that's not a bad thing. That's in fact quite a good thing. And they aspired to an ideal, so the suit and the pants and the conservative dress was almost like the working or the middle class aspiring to be nobles. Now maybe that's a bit of a simplified answer, but this was before the communists had destroyed the good, I might argue, impulse to emulate the nobles and the successful people, because they weren't taken to be bad people back then. They were taken to be noble, the good ones, someone that you would aspire to be like. And therefore, it's not a bad thing to have that instilled in your culture through dress. Not to say nothing of the modesty in the female dress and what that has to do with discouraging sexual impulses, but more importantly, reflecting a culture which itself was already healthier in terms of the sexual impulse. Those are the two inconvenient truths. They obviously made a mistake with this image. They shouldn't have let this image out there. You won't see this kind of image almost ever. They really made a big mistake. Whoever allowed this to become a billboard, and I've seen this in multiple subway stations over the city, you guys gotta wake up. You're not being dutiful to the regime. Whoever's in charge of this photo, you better hope that you can hold on to your job. Now, I don't know if it's the same person in charge for all these images, but this next image, to conclude this video, I'll just briefly comment on this image because it shows what the rulership should be doing. to the ridership. The rulers and the riders of the TTC over crammed in our subway cars. All the people in the world, in Canada, nothing but an economic zone, but we do have a religion tying us together. We do have a religion. We celebrate this religion. An entire month of the year is devoted to this religion, more than a month of the year. Kind of like in Orthodoxy, Pascha lasts more than a month, like up to a month and a half or more. Similarly, in our modern global American empire, which includes Canada, this religious festival lasts more than a year, and the rulers of the through the TTC, which is the institution controlled by them, like all the rest of our institutions, they got it totally right in this image, and we see who's leading the actual bus, like who's actually, and it's, I mean, I take it that you know what we're looking at here. I don't think I need to spell that out. So it's important for the rulership to show that the institutions come out in support of the new religion. This is it. And you can't be showing the past, how it actually was, because that reveals really inconvenient questions. And there were other posters, other billboards that showed scenes from the 90s or before that, where you might see some white people, but it was only a few of them. It wasn't the same effect. Because if it's just 3 or 4 people getting onto a bus and they happen to be white, that doesn't have the same effect as seeing like a whole platform of people where it's all the same ethnicity. And obviously, it's about more than skin color. Skin color itself is fairly irrelevant. It has more to do with the shape, the movement, the genes, the culture. It's all part of a psychic, spiritual medium, which is the ethnicity, which is the race. The skin color is almost like not worth mentioning. Hasta luego, amigos.